So a very good evening to everyone. I would like to welcome all our in-house and online audience to today's conversation. This is a power-packed conversation on overcoming imposter syndrome, an issue that many of us face silently, of course, yet deeply affects our confidence, our progress, and our purpose. This webinar is brought to us by Zion Pulp Publishers. And today we are here not just to talk about imposter syndrome, we are here to disarm it, actually. And I'm thrilled to be joined by two courageous, brilliant women who have not only encountered imposter syndrome, but they have gone ahead of it, they have written about it, they have spoken about it, and they have risen about it. My name is Dottie. I'm going to be our moderator for this session today, and I'm looking forward to an exciting time. Hoping that you get to engage in our conversations, and I hope you also get to learn something out of this conversation. Together with me, like I have said, is Eunice Ireri, together with Caroline Gaithuma, two of the co-authors of the book that will be launched soon, Overcoming Imposter Syndrome, written by 7 women leaders. Before we delve into the conversation of the day, I will give the two an opportunity to let us know who they are, the solutions they offer, and how we may get in touch with them should we need their services. So I will ask Eunice to go first, and then Caroline can come right after you. Karibu, Eunice.
Thank you, Dottie. I am smiling because I'm seeing very familiar names. Michael Gillega is my son, Gaithuma fellow. My eyes are Caroline Monue. Thank you for joining the movement. I am calling it movement, Dottie. My name is Eunice Ireri. I am a project manager and a project management profession. I earn my money by planning and implementing events across the Africa region. I am a storyteller, and that is the name I was given by LinkedIn. I love using storytelling to pass messages, to inspire, to motivate, and to empower someone. And specifically, I use my personal story because you can only best tell your personal story. I am a content creator, another name given courtesy of LinkedIn, and I do a lot of content creation across different pillars of life. I think life coaching, traveling, my normal day-to-day job. I am a PhD student. After I close my office at 5 p.m., I get into books. I am doing my PhD in project planning and management. I am a mother, and please just clap for me. I'm your newest author in town. And
Congratulations.
thank you, Curtis of Zion Fan Publishers. I am a mentor to many, and I do mentor in different aspects of life. I'm not going to specific areas I mentor on. When I'm not doing all those things, my dear listeners, for today, I love traveling, and it's because I found traveling is therapy. And I count myself by saying that I'm remaining one county in Kenya to complete the traveling journey. So for me today, before I can even hand it back to Dottie, I just want to start by telling you that the person speaking to you today was once written off. So how did I get out of that state? That's what all of you are going to learn by when we're done with this session. Back to you, Dottie.
Thank you, Eunice. Once written off, you don't look like. Let's wait and get to hear
about it. I will tell you about
as we delve into your stories. Thank you. Thank you for that powerful self-introduction. Caroline Gaithuma, please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thank you, Dottie. I hope my audio is clear. My name is Caroline Gaithuma. I am a transformation coach. I am a public speaking trainer and mentor. I am a mother. I am a public relations practitioner. And I am very, very passionate about the journey of transforming yourself. I am a mental wellness advocate because I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. I was once committed, institutionalized for mental illness. And here I am. And part of that journey is why I'm here today and why I wrote what I wrote in the book we are about to launch. I love serving people who want to explore the depths and the edges of their potential. And I believe that every human being is passionate about that, because that's why we wake up every morning to do something, to be something. And I love supporting people who are doing that. I'm also a content creator. So I have been doing a lot on Facebook for many years. I am also doing a lot on TikTok right now. And even though I got hacked recently, I am starting again, because that is something I'm also very passionate about, sharing stories and connecting people with their own stories as they advance to the achievement of their potential. So thank you for this opportunity. Back to you, Dottie.
Thank you, Caroline. We are so eager to get to hear more of your stories this evening. I would also just like to once again welcome everyone that has joined us. Carol Munuhe, Sita Kone, Isaac Nyaruwaya, Treza Kimani, Michael Gidaiga, Janet, Kenneth Nyagilo, Machuki Ongayo, Mary Mudhoni. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. We promise you some exciting conversation in here. So be open, prepare your writing materials, and at some point we'll allow you to also have a say in today's conversation. We have a chat box that is available for you to use. Something is exciting, drop it there. You have a question, drop it there. These two ladies here are experts on the subject matter. For them to put it down in a book, you want to believe that out of their experiences, they're also above the experiences, they're also well researched. So we hope you enjoy the session and get something to carry away with you. Now, the two of these ladies have written 2 chapters in the book, Overcoming Imposter Syndrome. Eunice's chapter is titled How to Conquer Self-Doubt, while Caroline explores the psychology of imposter syndrome. These 2 topics touch, the heart and the mind of their struggles. We'll be unpacking some of the real issues, sharing tools, and of course, inviting your thoughts along the way so you stay engaged, our audience. To start with, Eunice, I want to mention that in your chapter, I can see a young girl who went through a lot of struggles, even to come to where you are. Your chapter speaks of the battles that many of us face quietly. As I read through your chapter, I was identifying with it. It resonates deeply with my personal experience as a person who also came from somewhere and is currently somewhere. If I may ask, what does self-doubt often look like in the high-achieving woman now that you're no longer the person you were and you're at a level where you can look back and say, I have achieved this and that? How does it look like in the life of an achieving woman? And of course, a highly achieving woman.
Thank you, Dottie. Self-doubt looks like winning a global award and not believing in winning. As simple as that. Being there and not believing you're there. Being invited into a space, into a table, and believing you don't deserve that space you've been invited for. Something as simple as being called to address young girls in a school and asking yourself, why are they inviting me? You doubt each and everything in you that can benefit someone else. So for me, walking that journey, I just realized in writing the book that it's something that actually started at a very young age, but you didn't know that you're really doubting and there was nobody to tell you, stop doubting yourself. It's like the whole system was just telling you, you've not, you're out of figure. Let me be sorry, I looked a bit of English, I'm sorry. Somebody just telling you that it's not yet your time. And you believe it. And as I said, I was once written off. How was I written off so easily? It's because I believed the person that wrote me off, or the people that wrote me off. And it's because they were telling me it's not your time yet. You don't deserve a seat on the table. And then now the guy now just come and tell them, actually the table is full. I'm happy to start. And that's the ground that I am telling in my papa. Yeah.
Wow. So self-doubt.
Yeah.
And all that you had to deal with, and look at yourself where you are right now.
Yeah.
What could be some of the signs that we ignore? You know, someone could be dealing with a self-doubt, but they cannot really put a finger on how it is manifesting in their life. So what are some of these signs that we may be actually dealing with, but we just push them away?
So at this end, and when I was writing the book, I can tell you that for 5 years, the process of writing this book is actually gave me the answer to that self-doubt journey. And I came to the realization that it is not actually you not believing in your own competencies and skills and the knowledge that you own, but it's a fear of someone else. So you are like, what will they think? What will they say? And then it comes to a point you're struggling with it so much, you know right now that what the world is telling you is what you are. In that situation, you actually forget to redeem yourself. You get into a comfortable space where you're like, oh, they think I'm not good enough. Okay, actually, yes, I'm not good enough. They think that I can't speak. I was personally told that I can never be a public because I have an accent, and I believed it. And then the time I was told, do you want to say it to people? I would be not. I do not say to people. All of the people here on this call would be very familiar with that. I don't speak to you because I want to be with for their friends. And at the point at that is you have grown from that girl in the beginning. You're now at a place, people, you're reading your profile and people are looking at you like, wow, people are giving you a standing ovation for your profile. But deep down, you're like, no, it's not me. Did I write that profile? Don't you take me you're reading about? You're just in a place of, it's like a battle. I know me, but people know me. Forgetting and redeeming yourself between which fashion do you go with? Do you go with yourself? Do you go with the other fashion? So then the question you're asking is, at what point do you as a high performing person, and you can be high performing at 12, you can be high performing at 30, there's no age at which you will be high performing. You're best performing at the age you are in right now. So how exactly do you then stop self-doubt? Don't imagine it's just self-awareness, because that is what I did. I just got to a point I was self-aware. I got to a point where I was like, wait, don't you are you telling me? What is this telling me? And then I'm like, no, that's not it. So I became self-aware. I became more confident of my achievements, of the space I was owning. Because you can achieve things, but you don't belong in the space at which you're supposed to be supposed to stay. So as person who is continually getting that self-doubt, then I'll ask you first, are you self-aware of your own capabilities? Because if you're not self-aware of your own capabilities, everybody else will crush those capabilities, and you will believe you don't have those capabilities back here.
That is powerful. If you're not self-aware of your capabilities, everyone else will crush your capabilities. I think that is something that we deal with at one point or another in our lives. And many people can attest to the fact that there are times when even as much as you believed in yourself, just one statement from an outsider changes your perspective on yourself. And then you get yourself beginning to doubt yourself. Thank you, Eunice, for opening up. And you know, when I read through your story and you're talking about this accent thing, I was so looking forward to come and get the accent. I'm not getting it yet. Probably I will as we continue to talk because I can't pick it. But your story is one that not just high achievers will identify with, but even, you know, upcoming achievers. I think it is one that many people will resonate with. The things you have overcome to be where you are, some very interesting, like, you know, you don't want to spill the beans out here. If you want to get to know more about it, please get a copy of the book, Overcoming Imposter Syndrome, and read Eunice's chapter, and you'll get to know more about what she has really gone through. She has kept something serious. I will want to talk to her about it, how she was excited before the thing happened. Then here, you're thanking your dad for helping you escape from that. It is interesting. So thank you so much, Eunice. Caroline Gaithuma. The psychology of imposter syndrome is your chapter.
Yeah.
Yes. So your story goes deep into this thing, into the psychology behind this syndrome. I want us to explore that in depth. And my question, or I would just love to know if you're able to explain how the imposter syndrome forms, especially in women who seem to be high achievers on the outside. Where does this thing come from? Because if you research about imposter syndrome, it is evident, it is manifesting more in high achievers than people who are just beginning. How does it form?
It's actually very interesting that you've mentioned that particular demographic, because they achieve what they achieve because of this very imposter syndrome. It's like these are women who are wanting to be their best and to do their best because they are not feeling like they're getting there. And so the more they do, the more they achieve, and the more they look like they're there from the outside. And yet inside, the thing that is driving them to even achieve everything they're achieving is actually the imposter syndrome. And the reason why it's like that is because the imposter syndrome is an identity issue. That's number one. So when we talk about psychology, is what are the thought patterns, the emotional patterns that create this experience. And it's about our relationship with ourselves. That's number one. And our relationship with ourselves is really stemming from the identity that we embody, because the identity that we embody dictates how we see ourselves. Like Eunice is saying, some of us are still in the identity of the village girl. And so we still see ourselves as that girl. And when we look outside of our lives, there is a conflict. Because how is this girl driving a Range Rover house? How is this girl in a boardroom? You know? And this difference between the reality and how we see ourselves is what creates the imposter syndrome. And so the psychology happens because why are we stuck in that identity? Let's start from there, because there's an identity we are stuck in that does not match the reality of our lives. The reason we are stuck in that reality is because of the stories we are telling ourselves about ourselves. And these are stories that we've been told by other people. For example, I'm a firstborn. What is it that I kept hearing repeatedly from my parents, from adults around me? You're in charge. You're the one they are looking up to. You others are following you. Blah, blah, blah. You know, that was the kind of rhetoric that I kept hearing. And that story formed a bit of my identity. And that is how now I see myself. So I'm like, if I'm not a pathfinder or a way maker in this industry, then I have not achieved, because what am I showing others? Where am I taking others? You know? So that is how it comes about. It starts from your childhood experiences, which form an identity. And then if this identity is, because another thing that is important for us to note is the idea of attachment to identity, right? In the book, I talk about how at every level of our growth, we are going to experience imposter syndrome. We are going to impose. If you're like a junior level manager right now, you're experiencing the imposter syndrome. If you get to the level of CEO, you're still going to be experiencing the imposter syndrome. Why is that? It's because we have something called attachment, and we get attached to the identity. So let's say, for example, umezoea kukuwa manager. You know, now you have aligned your identity to your outward experience. Now you become attached to this identity and you start saying, I am this, I do this, I like this. You get comfortable in that identity. And then suddenly you're doing what you're doing so well that now you get to the next level. But have you moved to the next level? You're still this manager who is now sitting in the board. And now you start getting, you know, the imposter syndrome. So we have we have childhood experiences which create our identity, and then we get attached to our identity, and we don't move as fast as our life experiences are moving. That's the genesis.
That's profound. As I was listening to you, I'm having a question in mind, and I'm just wondering, could you help us differentiate between the fear of taking a step into doing something, There are people who have refused to move to the next level, not because they are doubting their capabilities, not even because that they're doubting their achievements to have been out of their own making, but just the fear of, let me just call it the fear of failure. Because personally, when I first heard about the imposter syndrome, my assumption was it is the fear of, attempting great things. And I want to believe there are people out there who are probably also thinking like I was. Help us understand the difference.
So before I talk about the difference, I'll talk about the mind, because now we are talking about psychology. So you have to understand how the mind functions. So the mind is in two parts. There is a conscious mind, the one that you use to reason, to make decisions on the daily. And then there's a subconscious mind, the one that's actually running the show, which is like the control room, the one that controls your breathing, your heartbeat, and that's the one that holds your identity together. Yeah. So the fear of attempting great things, the fear of failure usually is in the conscious mind mostly, because you're looking at something and you're reasoning, you're thinking, will I achieve the outcome? What if I don't? Blah, blah, blah. You're thinking. That's the conscious mind. On the other hand, the imposter syndrome comes from the subconscious mind because it's an identity issue. It's like, I can't believe I'm here. This is not who I am. It's not like a thought. You're actually attempting great things, but you're not realizing that you're not progressing identity-wise. So the fear of failure is usually brought about by a reasoning around outcomes. So it's, will I be judged? Will I be liked? Will I be accepted? Will this happen? Will I fail? And what will happen? That's usually something that is very easy to see. You can see it, you can point it out. But the imposter syndrome, and that's why an imposter syndrome is a feeling. I don't know if you guys experience it. It's not a thinking, it's a feeling, because it's coming from the subconscious mind. Yeah. So that's the difference. I don't know if that was clear.
Okay, so it's a feeling. The other one is more of a mindset.
Yeah, it's a thinking.
It comes from. Okay. Thank you for that. I just needed clarity on that because I also at some point when I first interacted with the one imposter syndrome. Thank you, Grace, for muting. I thought of it as the fear of doing things because you're likely to fail. But now I get to understand it. And I'm even more surprised to realize that the high achievers are prone to experiencing this thing than people who are still, coming their way up. And you just want to wonder, imposter syndrome, why? Why the high achievers? If there are any people you'd want to imagine are likely to deal with this thing, are the people who are still finding their ways up there. All the same, we are here to learn, and we hope to get to know more about that even as we continue. Back to you, Eunice.
Yes.
Reading your story, I'm picking something so strongly coming out that conquering self-doubt wasn't a one-time win for you. It didn't happen overnight. You have indicated some of the tips that you have had to put in place for you to be able to overcome the self-doubt that you struggled with for quite some time. What are two practices? I'm just asking for two that that you can confidently say helped you to shift your mindset when doubt crept in. Just two of them.
Just of them. Before I get to the two, I think the reason to why imposter syndrome is so pronounced in the high achievers, I still go back to the part of the self-aware. Our younger self, you don't really know what it is imposter syndrome. You just feel like it's a phase you're going through. So, but then now the more you progress with life, you're more exposed to, of course, because you're learning, you're more exposed to therapy, you're more exposed to all these materials. You're more aware than the young girl who's in high school. We're still going through the same things, but don't know what that thing they're going to is called. So one of the practices, and I'm very big on this one, comparison. I still feel I contributed early to feeling though I was feeling. And where was this? Negative comparison First is positive comparison. So don't you give a bit. I was very big at comparing myself with people. And the more I compared myself with people, not comparing myself with someone who was below me. Or I did not compare myself with someone who was much per se my peer. I was comparing myself with someone who was quite higher than me. And here I come. And I think in my book, I've mentioned something where I asked a question. Why was I even comparing myself as a size 6 with someone who is size 12? What was I expecting? So if you do that comparison, and what I'm calling a negative comparison, because you're comparing yourself with something that you're not, with a journey that is going to take you so much time to get there, with something no miracle is going to turn. So the moment I was like, oh, I want to stop comparing and complimenting. How? Instead of me thinking like, oh, I'm not sure this really loves his hair, and I don't have hair. And I'm like, oh, she's still looking nice about that hair. And I start feeling like she's more looking nice because you know what she's wearing. But then I'm on this other side. At that time, I fail to acknowledge my own positives and concentrate on Dottie's positives. I forget all the journey she walked to be where she was. Karen has just mentioned about being a manager and being in that phase of, oh, I'm now a manager. And I am here as a receptionist. I was there as a receptionist, very busy admiring a manager who has been a manager for 10 years. And I'm like, don't pick up a call. So I asked yourself, what was I doing to myself? I was contributing to my own worries and my own self-esteem issues. And then I shifted that now to the compliment and the positive comparison. It's a positive comparison. And the positive comparison is where I look at, I say, these are my strengths. I would want to work on, what is my goal? What do I want to work on? And then I look for someone who can coach me to be in that place I want to be. So I'm not looking at this person as a competitor, but someone who can complement my journey, someone who can actually coach me. And the moment I change that narrative, then I stop seeing that person as a competitor. So it was for me just that change, and it was just a very quick, easy success story for me because I was like, okay, so I'm size 10, Eunice, I'm size 10. I never did ICDC. Why am I even bothering? Like admiring an outfit with someone who's on size 10 or size 15 and I'm here. And then I just realized, both if you're comfortable with your own size, but maybe you say, okay, I want to add 2 kilos, and then work with someone who can help me get those 2 kilos. Not because I want to be the size 16, I'm admiring that, but walk the journey slowly. So it's no longer about, for me, it's no longer about the negative comparison. It's not about competing with someone. It's about the complimenting, whether in social life or in the career life. So that is one of it. The second thing, the someone who always says, don't look like your problem. Yeah, stop looking like your problems. Yeah, I do not look like my problems today. I might be, and at that point when you're going through your self-doubt moments, sometimes it's very internal. It's actually internal because it's only you feel like, I'm not doing really well. The person outside there actually does not know what they're going through. They don't. And the person saying, well, get dressed well. Don't look like your problems. You'll never get me looking like my problems. And do you know what that means? That it gives you a boost of life. You start feeling like, oh, actually, I'm smart. You don't see. I can actually get into the boardroom that I thought yesterday I cannot join. You start feeling like, oh, okay, I can be called for a meeting by my boss and accompany them because I'm feeling confident in my own self. I hide whatever is on my inside. I suppress it. And then take on the, I'm here today, I'm facing the world today. Even if I'm working to improve my inner feeling, outside there, I'm like, no, you're not going to think like, oh, this girl just doesn't know what she wants. And that thing made that change. Because someone will say, even if you're smart, and it opens doors by the day with your least call. Just be a good dresser. It opens doors. You don't really to see something so lightly taken, but it does. So for me, I'll take first topic of 2. Comparison. There are very many, and I've captured all those in my book, but for you to understand, reduce on the negative comparison. Be proud of what you are, the skills you are at. Look for a coach who can help you get to where you want to be, not where the person you're competing with is at. You don't know their journey. And that's why it's dirty kept on asking, what is this chapter verse? Because somehow you're looking at me and going, is this the girl who has gone through this life? Shivan, I'm just dressed well and will not see that struggle. Yeah, back to you, Dorothy.
Thank you, Eunice. We should reduce the comparison and find a coach to help us, navigate this huge monster, the imposter syndrome. The other day, not so long ago, I was having a conversation with a doctor friend of mine. This is a holder of PhD, very learned, in a very high profile position. So we engaged in a conversation, and she was telling me how recently she has been jetting in and out, attending very high profile meetings and receiving some very serious kind of reception. And she keeps questioning herself, do I really deserve this? She says sometimes even it troubles her. It stresses her that she's getting so much attention. She's getting, so much honor. You're picked in a car with, and some cars are escorting you and people are saluting at you. And so she says she's not comfortable with that. She feels she doesn't deserve that. And, I was just reading your book, and that gave me an opportunity to engage her in a conversation. And I mentioned imposter syndrome. And surprisingly, she didn't understand what that was. A PhD holder. You can see how serious this thing is, that probably the reason we don't know that we are dealing with the imposter syndrome is because we have never known it exists. So you just go about, the insecurities, the feeling of I'm not enough, but you never really understand where it is coming from. So we got to talk about it. And because I had read your book, by the way, that gave me an upper hand in the discussion. And I was there, teaching, instructing. I behave like an expert in the subject matter. And for me, that is really, really good. I want to believe that everyone that is in this conversation, after this talk, you're going to have a very different perspective on this subject that we are discussing and even how to go about it. So I gave her some information about it, and I'm looking forward to getting her a copy of the book just to help her further study on the subject. So thank you so much, ladies, even for choosing to write this book. You are helping many people. Back to you, Caroline. So Caroline, you mentioned about reframing our internal narratives, having this change happen from within. Could you walk us through one powerful mental shift, a powerful mental shift that helps rewire the mind from I am a fraud to I am becoming?
That's
a
very
mind
good
shift
question.
From I am a fraud to I am becoming.
Yes, that's a very good question. And before I give any practical tool, I would like to say that part of the psychology of the imposter syndrome is that our attention and our sense of self is from a projection. It's like we are looking for ourselves out there in how people react to us, in how people respond to us, in what we have achieved. That is what is determining our identity for us. And so we never really determine that for ourselves. We never look within and decide, who do I want to be? Especially if no one claps and no one looks and no one sees. Are because a lot of us, we have a mask. There's a way we show up in front of people, and then there's a way we show up when we are alone. So the first thing you need to do is that you need to synchronize those two. So you need to find ways in which to be authentic, to be yourself. And guess what that does? When you begin to become authentic, you begin to realize that there is no end to this process. You are always becoming. So even if you look like you have achieved right now, there is some part of you that is looking at another height. There is another part of you that is aspiring to another place. And to that version of you, you are not complete. I don't know if that makes sense. So it's like you're on a journey. You decide you're going to Machakos. When you get to Machakos, there's a version of you that has arrived. But then there's a version of you that's saying, twende tu Mombasa. And to that version, haujaanza. So what you need to do is the more you become authentic, the more you become in touch with yourself and who you want to be and who you want to become, the more you are okay with being on the journey. And when you are on the journey, of course, you're like a building under construction. There is a wall that is not plastered here, there is a door missing here, there is a window missing here, and it's okay. And it does not reduce the fact that there's progress. I don't know if you've gone somewhere and seen a building that is under construction and you've seen how the owner is excited. You came, you're seeing a shell. But the owner is like, oh my God, I can't believe I've gotten to this point. That is how we should be with our own life, with our own journey to our goals and our dreams and our mission. But when you're looking for that identity out there, when people say, hiyo haina dirisha, what happens? You shrink. Haina mlango, hiyo haijapigwa plaster, you shrink. Because you're looking for what they are saying. So first of all, bring your attention to yourself. Who are you? Who do you want to be? What is your mission here? Like, be in that. And you see, the thing about getting there is that you have to notice to what extent you have been conditioned and to what extent you have been programmed to make somebody else's idea of you be yours. Because when you don't realize, and I think this is part of what Eunice is talking about, self-awareness. When you're not aware of yourself and who you are and what you want, you're always going to be going with somebody else's ideas. And you see, as kids, we were very easily programmed. You could only become who your mom wants you to be. And who she wants you to be was determined on what the villagers are saying you should be. So it's like you've gone further and further and further away from yourself. Now you need to start coming back to yourself. And there are practices like journaling. Journaling helps you to see your own patterns. What is repeating itself in your life? What thoughts are repeating? What emotions are you struggling with? Because the more you start to notice these things, the more you start to peel off the layers, and the more you start to become more and more authentic, more and more yourself. And then suddenly, you will be in this bubble where you're so happy, you're ambitious, you're experimenting, you're failing, you're getting up, you're doing things. People are screaming, they're clapping at you, but you're like, thank you very much. But that is not why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm doing it because I have a mission to achieve. I'm doing it because this is who I am. This is natural. And so you start moving from looking outside for yourself and looking inside. So practices like journaling, that's number one. Number two, I don't know how many of you make any time for yourselves. A lot of us, in that rush of trying to find who we are out there, you wake up and before you open your eyes, you're reaching out for your mobile phone to start doom scrolling, to get ideas of what to wear and how to speak and where to go and what to eat, even where to take your kids to hospital. Like, we have become that open to other people's ideas. So make just 5 minutes of your life, just 5 out of 24 hours, 5 minutes. Sit with yourself and just be in yourself. Don't even think about anyone or anything. You're not sitting there to pray. Praying is another time. Just, like the way you would sit with a friend, just silently enjoying their presence. Do that for yourself. 5 minutes every day. It will totally change your life. It will turn your inner eye towards you. And it will make you now begin to see you for who you are. And you start to appreciate your process. You start to appreciate the incomplete things. And you start to move and progress anyway. Back to you, Dottie.
Wow, that's deep, that's powerful, and it ties with what Eunice also said. It has to begin from within, if you're going to experience any mind shift, then it has to begin from within. Like Eunice said, if you don't define yourself, you're giving others every permission to define you. So I totally agree with you. And thank you for sharing that. Now, to our audience, I'm just about to read some of the engagements you're sharing in the chat. I'm attending to that shortly. But I also want us to just take a moment and do some reflection. You know, if you have ever hesitated to speak up, you have ever said no to an opportunity, you said no when you were meant to say yes, just because you felt you were not enough. You felt like you are a fraud. Let us identify with each other. You know, like Kenyans say, tukutane nyuma ya tent ya blue. Just write in the chat, me. If you've ever said no to an opportunity, you never, you know, withheld yourself from speaking up just because you felt I am not enough. Let us see how many we are. Mine is verbal. Yes, me. There are many times I've said no when I ought to have said yes. And there are many times I felt like I was not enough. Let me see those me's coming in the chat. Just type a me. You know, you're not alone. We are together in this. And I can see the me's coming. So Eunice and Caroline, you see how you people have a lot of, you know, assignment to make sure that this discussion goes to all, you know, persons that need to get to understand the imposter syndrome so that we don't let opportunities pass us by. I have so many that have passed me by, and I don't think I'm willing to let more pass me by. So those who are agreeing with me, a big yes, me. Yeah. So it happens. So we have our audience also sharing something in the chat. Caroline Munuhe had said, "I'm curious which county is remaining." I think that was directed directly to Eunice. And sorry, I'm curious which county is remaining. It is Mandera County. Eunice responded to that. Then also just to let us know that the book that is handling the subject we are discussing today in details will be launched during a summit handling the subject matter of the book on the 12th of July, that is next month, at the Park Inn Hotel in Westlands. So we are talking about this subject matter, but we also have a book that is co-authored by 7, you know, powerful, brilliant women leaders. This book will be launched on 12th of July, and on that same day, we'll be having a summit handling the same subject matter, imposter syndrome. If you're part of this conversation, and from what we are experiencing already, this is an event you don't want to miss. We have a registration link also shared in the chat. If you feel you want to be part of this conversation further than this, what we are having today, then you can just click on that form. There's some guidance on how to go about it, and we'll be ready to host you on the day. So the book is being launched on 12th of July. And a summit will also be happening on the day on the subject matter imposter syndrome. The hotel is Park Inn Hotel in Westlands. The event begins at exactly 2 p.m. So you can mark that in your calendar, go through the process of registration, and join us on the day as we celebrate and get to learn from the 10 women that have authored this book. And then Carol has a question, and this is it. Oh there are many. So just allow me to get to that particular one. Is the syndrome pegged on one's background, growing up, family environment, etc.? That is a question. So the two of you can prepare to attend to it. Let me just read another one so we can have two to attend to. The next one is Eunice. How do we get to be self-aware of our capabilities? Is it best to know them from our supervisors, colleagues? How do we get to be self-aware of our capabilities? That is specifically to Eunice. And then the other one is asking if it is pegged on our backgrounds, growing up, family, environment, etc. So I think I'm going to split the two questions, but each of you can comment if you have something to say. So Eunice, attend to the one that goes specifically to you. And then we'll have Carol answer the one whether it's pegged on our background, growing up, and family environments, but it is open for both of you to comment. You can go ahead.
I'll take on for Isaac. That was that's super interesting in terms of and rest it on the chat box, but let me take it. Isaac, my greatest downfall was seeking validation from the world. And the validation I was seeking never came. The more I asked for someone to validate me, the more the person was telling me the opposite. And that's why I said I was written off. Because the same people I was relying on to validate me were the same people that actually wrote me off. And this is how it was happening. So you will go to someone, you're sharing something about maybe something you want to do or something you've experienced. And the person will change your story quickly and turn it to themselves. Oh, you know, this is how I did it for myself. You said the reason why you're not succeeding here is because you're not doing one thing. And then you're like, oh, okay, you could look at it, you know. Then you do so much work and you're not getting credit for it. And then what are you doing? You keep quiet. And you keep quiet to translate that means you're not doing a really good job. Sometimes the workspace, which is supposed to be a safe space, can be your battlefield. Because that is the space, Monday to Friday, you're being reminded, Isaac, about how you're not good enough. That's the workspace. In the childhood, now when I look back, and you get a copy of the book, you'll actually see it. These were ones that were always told to me. Oh, I could not carry 20 liters of water. Oh, you're lazy. With my small, tiny size, how was I supposed to carry 20 liters of water? But for me, that was communicated as being lazy. You go to the other side, oh, you've not gone through this procedure. Oh, now you're not a woman. Again, you believe them. That actually, I'm not a woman. It's a fact. I've not done the procedure, so you're not a woman. You come to the other side. Me, I always tell people, me, I used to be number 10 in the last, yeah? I was talking from the other side, not from the other side, you know. And what would happen? I became so comfortable after all, I'll be top 10. No, not top, bottom 10. Did I make an effort? No. My school certificate reads, Eunice is a girl of average academic, complete that sentence. That is the certificate today. Someone asked me, bring your high school certificate. That's what I present to you. Imagine that is what a teacher wrote for you in a document that you will carry for the rest of your life. But then again, you are accepted after all. Means I'm not bright. Welcome to university. And I asked Isaac, the validation those people who were supposed to validate me did not validate me. They told me otherwise. Let me tell you what happened when I validated myself. When I looked in and I decided I'm taking the power of validation, to me, I am the president of validation group of schools. Why am I doing a PhD? The girl who was of average academic, I don't know the like that thing, good in traditional dances. Why am I today? Am I there because I stuck on the ones of the teacher that told me, Eunice, you're average academically? I overturned and I seek validation for you. So please, don't seek validation from your colleagues. Don't seek your validation from your friends. Don't seek validation from your village. Validate yourself. If you cannot validate yourself, Isaac, you will be validated. You will be a traditional dancer. How do you change the story? And now I say I use my personal story to help somebody. If the moment you're told you're poor in class, you believe it. The imposter syndrome, which I did not know, this one is very big in English. I mean, English was trouble to us. How would I have known imposter syndrome as a villager? Back then, I wouldn't have known. But validate yourself. Know what are your strong points. Today, I am a project management professional. Nobody can tell me otherwise. I will actually correct you and tell you, oh, no, that's what you think. No, it's about the thing. You're not going to introduce me. You introduce me using my own wants, not your wants. And that's why I always tell people they are LinkedIn and Dottie, rewrite your story. If your story was written for you wrongly, rewrite it. Isaac, the workspace is the place our stories are so wrongly written. So validate yourself. Today, go home, sit down with your, in fact, my friend called it 20 minutes of doing nothing. Try to look at those 20 minutes of doing nothing. I will not ask you to identify the areas people have validated you right. Try to identify the places you've been told. No. No, 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 no. Now tomorrow, from tomorrow, take power. Start validating your own story. This imposter syndrome, for me, I'm standing and saying it's self-awareness. If you're not self-aware of your own strength, we will join the choir to be saying, you are not there. Wait for another 2 years. You're not ready for promotion. If people will come, they are promoted, you're just sitting there, and because you are accepted to be validated by other people. What about to validate yourself and tell those people, this is who I am? But you can see another. Am I preaching?
Profound. I love the way you're passionate about it because, one beautiful thing about this book is that the stories are very authentic. These ladies are very vulnerable with their stories. Particularly Eunice, yours is very vulnerable, the things you have gone through. Kwanza hiyo ya FGM, and then you ran away from it and you're now, an activist against it. Yeah, so get a copy of this book if you don't have it yet. First, come to the launch, get to hear from the other authors of the book, then arrange to get a copy of the book if you don't have it yet. And I want to believe, I'm also reading my own. This is how the book looks like. I've had the privilege to go through several chapters in it, and I'm reading my own, and I'm experiencing a mind shift, So make sure you get a copy, but begin by coming to the launch. Let us celebrate these women together, and then you can get a copy of the book for yourself. So, of course, like I already said, we'll be launching the book, but also we'll be having a summit on the subject matter. So it will be 2 in 1. The launch will be happening within the summit. So come attend the summit, and in the summit, we'll delve into the matter in depth. We'll get into the details of it. So if you want to get to know more, karibu sana, join us for that celebration. And I want to promise you, you will not leave the same. So Isaac Nyaruaya continues to say, I recommend you start by checking within. That way, you reduce the need for validation from others. Self-audit really helps. That's exactly what both of them have said. Identify the areas that you're strong with, even if another person tells you otherwise, you know your power. I think this is very powerful. When you know your capabilities, then you'll not let other people define you. Because when you know yourself, when you're self-aware, then that is exactly who you are. So Caroline Gaithuma, you had a question to answer. Is it pegged in our background, in our family experiences? Where is it coming from?
Thank you for that question. It's a very important question. As I mentioned earlier, the imposter syndrome is on the identity level, on how you see yourself, your self-perception, your self-concept. So if you go back into how you develop this self-concept, is that you come in as a child that is full of potential and aware of their potential. Children are innately aware of their potential. In what way? They know they are not limited. I don't know if you've ever seen a child who believes they're limited. No, they do not see limitation. Even when you go to the supermarket with a child, they believe you can buy anything and everything for them. That's why they're asking for this bike, they're asking for this TV, they're asking for this toy, because they do not perceive limits. But then, because of their external environment, they are shaped according to the limitations of their caregivers. So their caregivers begin to tell them, this is not possible for you, this is possible for you, you cannot do this, you should not do this. And you see, as they are shaped, they become. And that is why I really like that Eunice said at the very beginning about self-awareness. By the way, it's not a thing of canceling you and your identity. No, it's about becoming aware. And first of all, know that how you see yourself and who you see yourself has been heavily influenced by your upbringing. So that now you can begin to see in what ways did they limit me? With their behavior, with their achievements, with their lack of, with their fear-based narratives, all these things have shaped you. So what happens, and this is a positive thing about the imposter syndrome. The imposter syndrome allows you to see where you are limiting yourself. In what ways you are limiting yourself. therefore offering you the opportunity to break past that barrier and become more. So if you sit with it, it will give you a lot of information. If you sit with that feeling of like, I'm not good enough, and this is what has happened, it will give you a lot of information about your subconscious programming. And it will show you which barricades you have about abundance, about achievement, about how you look, about what is possible. And you can now begin to remove those barriers. So it all starts with how your psychology is shaped by your early childhood experiences. And then it's like when you get into an office, a new office, you get orientation. You are told this is your desk, this is what you will do, this is what is expected of you. That is what childhood is about. You come in here and you find yourself in a setup, a family setup, or whatever setup you find yourself. And as they are shaping you and limiting you and programming you and conditioning you, it's like they are giving you the work for the rest of your life. Because now for the rest of your life you will have to undo that. And as you're undoing that, you're going to discover who you truly are. You're going to discover that you are a force to reckon with. And so this is what is so important, to know that it is shaped at that point and to use the experience to remove all this programming and the limitations that have been put around you and who you can become and what you can do. So it's not a bad thing. I don't want people to see it like it's a bad thing. It's actually why you're here. If everything was perfect for you when you came and nobody limited you and nobody programmed you, why would you be on this planet? You would be somewhere in the heavenly realm singing hallelujah. But you're here to do the work. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Caroline. Wow, isn't it getting interesting? I'm learning. I'm glad I'm here. I hope you are as well. We are launching this book in a summit, handling the subject matter imposter syndrome on the 12th of July at the Parkins Hotel in Westlands. And we are looking forward to having you, all our guests who are here today. Come celebrate these women together with us. You'll also get an opportunity to listen to the other 5 who have not managed to be here today. This is part of the 7 that have co-authored the book, Overcoming Imposter Syndrome. To register for this summit, we have a link in the chat, which is well guiding. If you just click on it, you'll be guided step by step how to register to become part of the experience that we'll be having on that day. So if you're yearning for more, you need both the launch and the book. Do not choose one. Take both. Come for the launch, get a copy of the book, and you will be well sorted. So I get back to what you are saying here. So that is, thank you, Eunice, for the response. I look forward to meeting all of you at the launch. We'll definitely travel from Kisumu. Wow. Wow. What a support. To travel all the way from Kisumu to be part of this celebration. We appreciate you, Isaac. Thank you so much for promising to be part of this launch. And Chela Kimitei says, sometimes when you look within, what you see scares you. Inside is a lot more than outside. I'm scared of myself sometimes. Maybe our 2 speakers today, do you feel the same way sometimes? Just give me a yes or no. Do you feel the same way sometimes, Caroline? Do you feel the same way sometimes, Eunice?
Sometimes, yes. I feel sometimes like that, yeah.
What about you, Eunice? Do you?
It's how I've managed to, I really, and I did not have the notes to comment on that comment. Yeah, was like, it's the power of how, like, personally, if she can just read my chapter, I don't know what scaring being it is that can really, it's the power of changing that scaring part you think is scary to your content and to be able to actually now look at it and just like, okay, so kind of, okay, just mention, sorry. I'm not able to pronounce her name. Let me go back to so that I get her name right. It's very cute. Chola Kimitei. Okay. Let me go with Kimitei, maybe it's like this. So Kimitei, let me ask you, Do you have anything more traumatic than escaping an FGM episode? How then am I able years later to actually convert that really scary situation to a story that inspires others? So yes, you can look and then you're like, I don't even want people to know about this. You don't have to tell people. I tell people, I only give you 30% of what my life is all about. What can you pick out of that inner thing that you're so scared about and use that to educate, empower, motivate, and inspire? It can be scary, but you might it to another person, they don't see the scary part of the story. They see resilience, they see victory. So what about turning 30% of that experience into a masterclass and benefit the world? Yes.
Thank you, Eunice. Talking of a masterclass there. So my sister Stella, you're having an opportunity there to, come up with a masterclass. Thank you. Kevin Nyakundi.
Can I
Hello,
add
here
something
we
there,
come.
Dottie?
Yes?
Can I just add something
Yes, please.
small there?
Yes, please.
It is important what Eunice is saying, because I think sometimes we like to have an experience that is this or that, and we are trying to curate life to be this or that. The reality is you will experience fear. That is the reality. The question is, do you allow it to stop you? Because it is also a resource. The fear that you feel is a resource. It is a very potent and powerful energy that you can use to change your life. So it's not about avoiding or escaping the fear. The fact that you feel scared means there is power there. And so instead of running away from it, when you feel like there is power, you need to look in there. That's where you need to go, because that is the power that you need to propel you to greater heights. So it's your response and your relationship with fear that needs to change so that you can make the most out of your life experience. It's not to avoid fear or to fear the fear. It's to use the fear as rocket fuel that will shoot you up to higher heights.
Thank you, Caroline, for that addition. I also just want to let us know that probably you're joining us from far away from the city and is unable to join us for the launch. You can make an order for your book on our online bookstore. We have a link also shared in the chat. Just make an order, give us your details. We'll arrange for a delivery to wherever you want it to be delivered. So the book is available for those who won't make it to the launch. But for those who can have both, that will be a great combination. Come experience the launch, get a book. Isaac Nyaruayo says, all these ladies are beautiful. I'm curious to know how they met to work on this project. Thank you, Isaac, because you're coming for the launch. You'll get an opportunity to talk to them. They will tell you how they came together. It's a long story. We can't talk about that here. Ukikuja kwa launch, you'll get to experience that. So that gives you another reason why you can't miss the launch. We are glad you have promised to come. And so another person says, Grace Miriti says, I truly agree. Self-validation is powerful. Self-validation is powerful. So we're talking about overcoming imposter syndrome. It is also something that 7 powerful, brilliant ladies have written about. And this is how the book looks like. We are having a summit on the subject imposter syndrome on the 12th of July at the Pakin Hotel in Westlands. And on that same date, we will be officially launching this book. So take advantage of the remaining time. You want to register. Registrations are, the slots are moving so fast. You don't want to be left out. If you're interested, you can register as soon as now. The link is there. Details are provided, so you will be well guided. The webinar is brought to us by Zion Pearl Publishers. And I want to encourage our audience, if you have a question, these ladies are well able to attend to it. As you can see, this is their area of expertise. This is something they are not just writing about. You read their stories, you realize they have experienced it firsthand. their lessons largely are from the experience, and they've also done thorough research on the same. So thank you so much for joining us. We hope this was a good investment of your time. Irene Lazaro says, proud of you, mentor Eunice. Looking forward to the launch. Looking forward to the launch. Of course, the launch will be happening within a summit. Those two are inseparable. So if you hear me say launch, think of the summit, because the launch will be happening in the summit. So we'll have a summit, but within that summit, we will declare the book officially launched. So it is more than just a launch. It is Overcoming Imposter Syndrome Summit. Now, I know we've really had some good time here, but I know we are also looking forward to, being part of the celebration. So another person is asking a question. Before I just complete what I was saying, it is important that I attend to this immediately. There is someone who is joining us online from YouTube. We have some online audience, by the way. Thank you so much for joining us online. We appreciate you. We can't see you now, but our tech team can see you. So we have this question brought to us, and the question is, does the imposter syndrome go away completely? I think that would be my question as well. Does the imposter syndrome go away completely? Does it keep creeping back whenever there are new assignments or achievements that come by? So this is a comment from YouTube by Karere. Any of you can attend to that. Karibuni.
Okay. It does not go away. It does not go away. But again, I think if you're going to take anything away from this session, I'm telling you to take away self-awareness. It will not go away. It will always remember. And just say, if that voice in your mind doesn't go away, it keeps on always like questioning you, like, what are you doing, something like that. But I'm saying, because you're aware, you will notice when that voice is talking. And I always like saying, when I hear that voice talking to me, I don't minimize the volume. I change the channel. Don't touch me. Because I know what it's trying to tell you. It's trying to tell you, no, don't go forward. No, don't start it. Don't say yes. It's telling me don't say yes. But I'm aware. I know what you're trying to tell me. So I literally just at times and then take myself and take the opportunity of coming. So even today, when I was preparing for this session, I kept on wondering, am I ready to do this webinar? I was actually no, I think I'm not feeling scared. But then she was like, actually, that is you being scared. I was really feeling like I'm not feeling scared. So the imposter syndrome feeling, Caroline put it very clearly, it is a feeling. What we do is feelings. We manage your feelings. It's you personally. So when you feel something is trying to discourage you from positivity of life, you speak to it. You manifest to it and say, no, not today. Let me go do this. So for me, I didn't believe you, and thank you for joining us. No, it does not go away. But because you are self-aware, you're able to mitigate the voice that is speaking to you and read it accordingly.
Wow. Caroline, you want to say something?
Yes, I just want to reiterate what Eunice is saying. It never goes away because, by the way, if you don't have an imposter syndrome, it means you're not growing. You're still the same old. You're not challenging yourself. But when you hear that voice that Eunice is talking about, the one that's saying, are you sure? Don't do that. That is the voice of the past that does not believe you are where you are and does not believe you can get to where you want to go. So the thing that, as I said, it's a feeling, one of the easiest way to deal with it, just take a deep breath in and become the version of you that is the owner of that dream. Because usually when you start to feel the imposter syndrome, now you're starting to become your past self. That's the pattern you're starting to embody in your system. You're starting to embody the nervous system of the person that does not even comprehend the dream you're going after. But if you just take a deep breath in and remember who you are, I'm actually working on this dream. That voice will just be in the background, it will not affect your actions. So whenever it comes, take it as a sign. It's a sign that you're heading in the right direction. And shouldn't that excite you? Doesn't it excite you when you see Karibu Mombasa? If you are going to Mombasa and you see a sign that says Karibu Mombasa, you get more excited. I'm almost there. So that is how you work with imposter syndrome. When you feel it, it's a sign. Karibu Mombasa. You're heading towards your dream. Thank you, Dottie.
Thank you, Caroline. As you're responding to that, I remembered something that I read from your chapter, and that is on page 51, where you have your conclusion. I think that also is a good response to that question. And you're saying, our goal is not to eradicate it, but to change our response to it.
Exactly.
When we understand its roots in our lives, we can heal the trauma responses of the events that created it. We can be free to create a new life based on the wisdom imposter syndrome brings us, showing us where we are holding ourselves back from actualizing our highest potentials. So that is part of your conclusion on your chapter, The Psychology of Imposter Syndrome. I just thought I should read that because as you spoke, I remembered you mentioned it in your conclusion. So the other question or comment that is coming from YouTube, the same person who asked that question comments and says that these are powerful conversations that should be converted into a workshop. Hey, Ireri, if I'm getting your name right, we are having a summit on the 12th of July. You know, don't wait for the workshop. We are having a summit on the very day we are launching the book. So if you want to get more information about the subject, you're very welcome. We have a link in the chat. You can just click on it. It has very clear directions and guidance on how you can register and be part of the conversation on that day. And when you come, because I'll be present by default, make sure you say hi and we can have a conversation of your experience because I'm having some really good experience here as well. So thank you so much. Rena Priska says, always proud of you, Eunice. This is a huge milestone. There's always a lot to learn. Looking forward to reading the book and growing. And Rena, this is a special invite from me. Come, let us celebrate Eunice on the 12th if you're able to. Okay. So Jackson says, after an intense introspection and self-reflection as a way to conquer an imposter syndrome, ideas that are transformative are more likely to be generated when executing them in reality. How do you evaluate yours if you're still in the right track? After an intense introspection and self-reflection as a way to conquer an imposter syndrome, ideas that are transformative are more likely to be generated. When executing them into reality, how do you evaluate yours if you're still in the right track? How does comments from those experienced ones affect your idea? It's a two question in one. If you can read it, Eunice and Caroline, you can attend to it.
I've read this question so many times because I'm trying to get the exact question from Jackson. I'm still struggling per se on what exact the question is. Is he saying, okay, is it a point? I don't know if someone able to speak. I think it would be good to just get from him. But Caroline, if it's clear to you, maybe you can start as I still try to digest this question.
So what I'm getting is the first part of the question is saying that he's taking what we are saying, self-awareness and self-introspection, and he's like, fine, we'll do that. And because of that, transformative ideas are more likely to be generated. So now he's asking, so when we're executing these transformative ideas into reality, how do we evaluate if we are still on the right track? And then the second part I'm getting is like, how do comments from those people who have gone before us, are more experienced than us, affect our ideas? That is how I've gotten it. So if that is what you meant, Jackson, and you're still here, please give us a thumbs up so that I've seen a thumbs up. So that we are answering the question as you asked it. So there's still something that I've gotten from that question, even before he responds. it is true that when you are introspective, when you expand your self-awareness, more transformative ideas, more ways, empowered more ways of being show up in your life. You become a different person. You embody a higher identity. And he's given a thumbs up. So yeah. So then as you're executing these ideas, how do you know if you're still on the right track? By the way, no one outside of yourself can know if you're on the right track or not. That is just the way it is. No one outside of yourself can tell you whether you're on the right track or not, because they did not see the vision. When you are dreaming the dream, they were not there. They do not know your potential. They do not know the inner lessons that you need to learn, because life is teaching us lessons that are beyond what people can see. So as you're executing your dream, there's stuff that's happening inside of you that sometimes the lack of something or a mistake or a failure will teach you more than a success. And so the person outside might look and see you're failing at this and tell you you're not on the right track. If you listen to them, then you're going to be more lost than found. So remember, as you introspect and generate transformative ideas, even the way needs to come from within you. Even the idea of whether you're on the right track or not is coming from within you. So you have to have a process where you check in with yourself. Even when you fail and succeed, check in with yourself. How do I feel about this? Am I heading in the, because it's not just about achieving something, it's who you're becoming. Dreams do not just are not just physical things that we manifest. Dreams are the people that we become as we are pursuing those things that we are creating. So comments from those who are experienced can be taken with a mindset of I'm a learner. I'm learning from life. I'm learning from the journey. And maybe this person has done something in a way that you have not known or even done, and they have some insights to offer you. But remember, they're just giving you insight on how to execute your idea. Ultimately, who you are becoming and where you're going is on you. So how you take that feedback is supposed to be filtered through where you're going and who you're becoming. So you don't just take it as because it's somebody from who has experienced this and you must execute it the way they are saying. You filter it based on who you're becoming and where you're going. So that, I think that's my feedback for that.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Caroline. Eunice.
I can comment now. I think now that you've given us a feedback, I'm happy to comment if there's time for me.
Yes, please.
Okay, so Jackson, I will answer you in two comments. The first one I'm going to read for you, my favorite quote, not a quote per se, by Ibrahim Traore. Right now, everybody knows about Ibrahim Traore. What did he tell people? He said, your fear won't save you. And he says, they always bring up examples to scare us. They say, Thomas Sankara triumphs, he died. Gaddafi triumphs, he died. Someone told me it's called Ireri, not Haiti. Nothing else you say Haiti. Also it's Ireri. The Russian president triumphs, is dead. Those are fear tactics, nothing more. If we live in fear, we become cowards. But history is watching. Our children will ask, what did you do? Jackson, who is criticizing Ibrahim Traore right now? The experienced ones, isn't it? So you will get there. The people above you will be waiting for you to shake your hands and tell you, young man, you're still young, you're not old enough. You still don't have the experience. Caroline has asked, whose journey are you walking? Theirs or yours? You're walking your journey. So please, walk your journey. The last part of my answer, I got my degree at 35 years. I was told I was too old. Did it prevent me to be in a class with a 19-year-old? I was their mother in the class. Did I succeed? Yes, I did. So if you're on the right track, why do you want to be on the wrong track? Keep going. They will tell you, so and so tried, they failed. Please try. Let's see whether you will fail. Thank you.
Jackson, try. Let's see whether you will fail. The journey is yours. I think those two answers are powerful according to your answer there. Thank you, Eunice, and thank you, Caroline. Now, I know we are coming almost to the end of our conversation today. And as we do that, back to you, my audience of the day, or our audience. What's one thing you're walking away with from this conversation today? It is important just to get to know. What is one thing? If you forget every other thing, if every other thing didn't make sense, is there one thing that has made sense for you today? Let us see it in the chat. Just drop something, a word, an insight, a mind shift. Just drop something in the chat. It will be helpful for our speakers as well as us. We can also get to learn from it if it missed us. So everybody, I encourage us to drop something in the chat. What are you taking away with you today? And while we are at it, back to our two speakers of the day, let us get a little practical. Eunice and Caroline, in one sentence each, can you give us, number one belief to drop? What is that thing we need to drop? And number two, one belief to embrace. So each of you, two things. One belief to drop, the other to embrace. And so we go.
Shall I start?
Yes, please go ahead.
One belief to drop. I have to have figured it out to make a move. A belief to embody. I am enough exactly the way I am.
Hope we heard that. I have to have it figured out. I am enough just the way I am. The first one you drop, the second one you embrace. Thank you, Caroline. Eunice?
What do I ask us, all of us, to drop? Please, can you drop the need to be validated? Validate yourself. That drop now. Now, not tomorrow, drop that one now. That one is what's ready. What to take.
Yes.
If I tell you to say that you're enough, it will look like it's like a very common name. But what I'm going to tell you to take away, please. No one else will do it for you. You're on this alone. The moment you get Eunice, everybody else becomes your cheerleader. Do it alone.
Thank you. Thank you, Eunice. Stop seeking validation. Do it alone. Thank you. Those are two powerful points. We know what we are dropping, and you've said we drop it now. I drop mine now. And I hope everyone else is dropping theirs, and just learning to do it alone. It is my journey. I'll walk it alone. So some comments here. Irene Lazaro, powerful response. That is to the question that has been answered. Caroline says, the mingi work is inside. Kazi mingi iko ndani. The mingi work is inside. Isaac Nyaruaya has learned something about self-validation. And Nyaruaya, we have been told to drop it. So I hope you're dropping it. Grace Muriti says, for me, it is picking it, embracing it, not dropping, sorry. We are embracing self-validation. We are dropping, seeking validation from the outside. And then Grace Miriti also says that is for her, self-validation. And Jackson says, thank you so much. Those are very mind-shifting and 360 degrees responses and experiences. Emma Toroitich says, the power is within me. Self-validation. You see, we got something. This conversation has been impactful. And I think this is why, even though they are not telling me, I can sense that we are promising to join you on the 12th of July. And, during the summit, as you also officially launch the book. Just give me a thumbs up, guys. Let us promise them we are going to be there. Take advantage of the link that is shared in the chat. The details are there, very well guiding. In the end of it, you will have yourself registered, and then you can join us on the day of the launch and the summit to celebrate together with us. Now, this conversation has proved one thing. You are not alone. I am not alone. But before I come to the final conclusion of today's conversation, Eunice and Caroline, other than what we have shared here and probably more sharing on the subject of imposter syndrome, what can we anticipate? What should we expect during the launch?
Okay, so I'll start. Everyone who's coming during the launch, because I can see my gang is quite here already. So of course you expect a lot of party, a lot of live sharing, authentic live sharing of our stories. That's what we expect. And I want you to come and expect tips on how to just believe in these students. That's what I'll be teaching you. How to just be patient and not resilience are the ones. And also teach you how to be authentic self. If that day when you come, you will get to know how Dottie and group found me. You will be very shocked. But it was I will give you a name. It was because of me sharing this story somewhere, and they got me there.
Wow, thank you. That's another reason for us to come. Yes, Caroline?
Of course, we are going to expect refreshments. That is something that was not here at this webinar. We also are going to have 360 shift in our mindset about what is possible for us. And of course, another thing is a sense of community, because when people are doing this work, because it's inner work, it's stuff that you need to uncover within yourself. Sometimes we tend to feel lonely. And here is going to be a sense of community. When people share experiences, you feel, oh, I'm not alone. I thought I was experiencing this alone. I was actually thinking I am an actual imposter. You know, I was believing the thoughts in my head. So you're going to have a sense of community. You're going to feel the love. You're going to feel a sense of sharing. And you're going to feel like your life, actually not to feel like, your life is going to change. You don't want to miss this opportunity. Yeah. Back to you, Dottie.
Thank you, Caroline. I think what I'm picking from what you're saying, there's going to be an opportunity to network, right? And they can as well find their tribe there, you know?
Yes.
If you're currently in a situation where you're trying to understand imposter syndrome or dealing with it in some areas of your life, come and meet these other people. They have experienced it, and like they have confessed, it doesn't completely go away. It keeps trying to creep in back. But knowing how to deal with it is the only solution out of it. I hope you can all see the poster on our screen. Imposter Syndrome Summit and Book Launch. You know, speakers are listed there. The ones that have spoken to us today are just two of them, and they're close to each other. Actually, their chapters follow each other. But we also have others, Dr. Faith Kujiri, Mercy Mulei, Anne Wamonje, Monica Muturi, and Christine Muriuki. So you see, there is still more in stock for you to just come and glean from. So we are having this summit, and in it, we will declare this particular book launched. The date is 12th July, 2025 at 14 hours East African time. The venue is Parkin Hotel in Westlands. We are so eager, looking forward to having you, and we want to promise you that your life, family-wise, career-wise, health-wise, relationship-wise, all-wise, will never be the same again. Promises you will come, and we will prepare to receive you honorably. As we come to the end, a special thank you to Eunice and Caroline. Oh, these conversations have been authentic. Thank you for pouring out your heart. It has not just been some stories, but there have been great lessons, great insights, and I know that people have experienced some shifts in their mind and you know, perception about the imposter syndrome. Personally, I'm learned. I have learned. I'm leaving this place learned, and you know, like one wise person said, that a mind stretched by a new idea cannot regain its original dimension. If you hear me around here talking about imposter syndrome, just know that I attended a webinar and I got taught. Okay, so thank you so much for giving yourself to this assignment and for so openly and authentically speaking to us today. To our esteemed audience, this would have not been this powerful if you didn't come. We appreciate you for honoring our invitation, and we're still looking forward to having you. For those whose schedules will permit, join us on that 12th July at the Park-In Hotel in Westlands. You will be glad you came. From what you have experienced, I know you have a taste, and so you can be sure aware of what to expect when you join us again. This cannot be possible without the team behind the scenes. Dottie is on the camera, but it is not all about Dottie. I have a team working together with me at Zion Pearl Publishers. So to Zion Pearl Publishers team, thank you so much for making this possible. If you are not there, probably things will not turn out like they have. And above all, one person that we cannot miss to recognize is Mr. Radido Dooso, the founder and director of Zion Pearl Publishers, the foundation of the company that are also under which the She Leads project is, or the founder of the She Leads project, directed and founded by Mr. Radido Dooso, under which also this book has been written. I think that is a little mixed up, but what I mean is Zion Pearl Publishers is the company under which the She Leads project is established, and it is under the She Leads project that we have this book published. So Mr. Dooso, we appreciate you so much for preparing and availing a platform for these women leaders to come together and co-author a book. We call him he for she, so he is a he, but he has interest in the leadership and of women and women affairs. So we appreciate you so much. My name is Dottie. I think I'm overcoming the imposter syndrome of, thanking myself as well, thinking that people will think I was proud. I deserve to also be appreciated. So my name is Dottie. It was my honor being our moderator for today. Thank you for being here until now. And until we get to meet on the 12th of July, I want to wish you some good time. May God keep you and preserve you. And then at the end of it all glory goes back to God. Asanteni sana. Jioni njema.
Bye.
God bless you.
Okay,